Our hearts beat to the city streets. We began to feel the fire. We rise like tall buildings as the chemicals, they take us higher. The night's young and it's just begun as she puts her hand in mine. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull stars from the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, as we shout from the top. We're gonna be two hearts running wild. Now the morning is the afternoon. We lay awake in bed. The laughs so loud as the hours pass. We're gonna do it all again. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull stars from the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, as we shout from the top. We're gonna be, we're gonna be two hearts running wild.
Okay, just okay. Fühlt sich nicht so kalt an.
The moonlight, summer sky, it was the best we ever had.
Actually, that water now is a little bit colder. Das hinten, das war sehr flach, das ist aufgeheizt worden von der Sonne. Yeah, I am. Oh, hello. Pink. One question, the stickers with the numbers on some of the boats, are those inspection stickers by the park? Yeah.
Clean your boat out or leave water in it and go from this lake to
The next, yeah.
some things that live there can come here.
Yeah. Oh, so you have to do this once a year?
Yeah, once a year for us because we leave our trailer kayak here.
Ah, okay.
So if we were to take the trailer back to Jackson and then come back every day we bring them back into the park and we have to get inspected.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
So we do that for motorized boats as well as non-motorized boats. Things that shouldn't be here out.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Effect on every other native species in that body of water.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. 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 Yeah, it's a cascading effect. Every entity in the ecosystem has its purpose, and you remove or all of northern United States.
Yep.
But this was considered a small event in the relativity of the massive culture.
Yeah.
180,000 years ago, roughly. Are you guys familiar with Crater Lake, Oregon? So Crater Lake is in southern Oregon, and it's another national park. And it's very, very similar to the West Thumb. It's almost, you can take the West Thumb and Crater Lake, and they're the exact same size. And Crater Lake was created by a pyroclastic eruption, so a volcano that upwelled, the crust swelled, blew up, and then subducted. Difference between here and Crater Lake, though, Crater Lake is 1,000 feet deep, one of the deepest lakes in the world. And it's really cool. It's ringed by mountains all around it. Southern Oregon, really beautiful. So take a look at the bank here. Take a look at the substrate. You're going to notice a definite change in the substrate.
Yeah.
Once we pass this creek here, we call this Incinerator Creek,
Mm-hmm.
and that's kind of the southern terminus of the active geyser basin. You'll start to see activity in the form of steam vents, and then we'll see some staining on this rhyolitic rock here. Most of the substrate in the devastated zone, where the eruption about whatever it was, 2.1 million years ago occurred, all of that substrate is rhyolite. So rhyolite is the result of pyroclastic flow. Two types of eruptions with volcanoes. You have magma, which turns into lava, or you have pyroclastic flow. Do you guys recall Mount St. Helens?
Yeah.
1981. Scientists knew that it was going to erupt. They didn't have any clue on how it was going to erupt, what type of eruption. So that was pyroclastic flow. It completely blew out the north side of that mountain range. Pyroclastic flow is so devastating because it travels at the speed of sound. Form eruption.
Yeah.
Or if it's going to be a chain of eruptions. So this is Incinerator Creek here. And then take a look at the iron oxide, the rust that's staining this rhyolitic rock. So this is from active steam vents. Mineralization within that rhyolite. That steam comes out of the steam vent. Stains all that rhyolite.
Is that like the mammoth stuff? Like the
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And you'll see also a lot of travertine up there as well, which is geyserite. Geyserite, so rhyolitic rock is the result of cooled pyroclastic flow. We know what lava looks like when it dries, magma, right? We have a bit of lava flow if you're driving from the Old Faithful area to the Madison Junction. About halfway on the Firehole, look across the Firehole River, you can see lava flow. It looks like the big island of Hawaii. Very small portion of it, though. Very small portion of this volcano was lava. The pyroclastic flow is cooled, or excuse me, rhyolite is cooled pyroclastic. That's ash, gas, and whatever bedrock was obliterated and destroyed. So it looks, there's very little granite, especially in the devastated. You'll get granite south, you get north and west, those larger mountain ranges.
I think the rock near the Piedmont, it's like glass almost.
Yeah, so some quartz.
Oh, that's what that is. Okay.
So we do have big quartz deposits.
Got it.
Take a look around active geyser basins, and what we have is we have converting that quartz into silicon.
We're already getting on thousands of.
As the land exfoliates, that silica gets pushed to the top. And so when you're in an active geyser basin, you're going to see a lot of that still. We got some active pools right here just off my bow.
Did you say those are heated, right?
Yeah.
But because I touched one of them before.
Nah.
You have to be
So
careful
you're dropping a little eyedropper of water into a swimming pool.
Okay.
Right? That's kind of the analogy of how this disperses. The heat dispersion is immediate.
Yeah.
We're in a, what is it, 10 million gallon lake, something like that, probably more. And so you really have to be on top of a very active feature to feel the heat. So go ahead and, why don't you follow me like ducklings here? We were literally doing the opposite. I know, just Let's swing around this little shelf here, Matt. So we're going to go over a dormant geyser here. You can see where this feature has been blown out. Right here, about an 80-foot drop. Look at right down into the mouth of that dormant geyser there. You'll see slight percolation still. Very, very little activity, if any.
Wow.
Every now and again, we see a cutthroat hanging out in the depths of that old geyser there.
Cool.
Survive at a very unique height. So each color represents a different species. Each color is a different species at a different temperature.
Yeah.
And so the color spectrum as it goes from hot to cold, you know, the really, really hot colors, when you look at like Grand Prismatic, you can see in the center, you'll see blue, yellow, green, and then out into the oranges, and then the auburns, and then even black. So that color spectrum will let you know what temperature that water is. What's really cool about thermophile bacteria as well is the reason why we can synthesize or replicate DNA is because of thermophile bacteria. So in the 1980s, scientists were trying to find the chain to the, or a link to the polymerase chain reaction. I don't know if you remember this from science. So there was an enzyme that was missing in that link, and it was surmised or hypothesized that that enzyme would be found in thermophile bacteria. And it actually was in Yellowstone. This is one of the highest concentrations of thermophile bacteria in North America. So it's found in Yellowstone in a particular geyser basin. And that since synthesized it, but that allowed the polymerase chain reaction to occur. So we can replicate DNA. That's why you'll find things in bumpers like that, the natural bacteria. And that's the result of that heated water. Yeah, right? Think about what warm water does to a region, right? It kind of bleaches the land. That would from New York, from Chicago, from Philadelphia, take the railroad to Gardner. You hop on a stagecoach. You do about 7 to 10 days stagecoach. This is called Fishing Cone. On the stagecoach ride, there was a campground just beyond the basin here. And so there are many pictures of visitors in their finest Victorian outfits standing on this geyser. And back when the population of cutthroat was almost 1 million fish in this lake, somewhere from 1 million to 2 million fish, it was estimated that every cast would produce a fish. There are pictures of people standing on this geyser, fish on their line, and then they would drop their fish right into this active geyser and poach it.
I told you yesterday.
That became a phenomenon that many tourists did up until the early 1900s.
Yeah, we saw one of these pictures.
No.
We saw one of these pictures yesterday, and I was speculating. He's definitely putting the fish in for cooking.
Has an inner constriction that creates, has a vapor lock. Vapor lock is created by the superheated water. That water turns over on itself and then breaks that vapor lock, and then you see a steady stream coming out. Fountain geysers don't have an inner constriction, and so their activity is almost perpetual. A lot of times you'll see them just percolating constantly, non-stop. That being said though, going back into the late 1800s, early 1900s, you had people doing whatever they want. You would have individuals dropping lead balls into these fountain geysers that would then create a constriction.
Oh no.
Pressure backed up, and then boom, would blow out whatever they used to create that constriction. Work for the university? Yeah.
I could so jump into this water right now. I know, but it's kind of calling me.
like it's heated, right?
Yep. That's actually not too bad. You don't want to swim in it, but putting a finger in is still okay. Oh, it's so beautiful. You're allowed that close?
Take a look at right here. See that bird wing?
Yeah.
A bird sometime died and then got covered up, and then its wings emerging right there.
Cool.
This is pretty cool. You can see the layering of rhyolite and geyserite. So what we know from the color spectrum, how hot is that water?
It would be hot. It was black.
No, cold.
Yeah.
Cold. So the coldest.
Black is the coldest.
Black is the coldest.
Yep.
So it's about 85, 90 degrees.
So what
Fahrenheit.
about brown then?
What's that?
Brown?
So from the coldest to hottest, you
Yeah.
go black, brown, auburn.
Oh, red. Okay.
Yeah,
Got it.
orange, red or orange is somewhere in there, and then green, yellow, blue.
Okay.
Let's see how old this thermophile bacteria is by the thickness as well.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Look at that. That's a
What's the growing rate?
I'm not sure what the growing rate is. Do you know, Rich? I'm not sure. What I do know though is that, take notice, you'll see thicker, thinner, and that's from the activity level. We're in one of the most seismic active areas in the world. We have about 5,000 earthquakes a year, most of them being under 2.0, under the Richter scale. But those sub-Richter scale tremors can affect all of these hydrothermal or geothermal features.
Mm-hmm.
What happens a lot of times in the park is we have either subduction or upwelling. And so that will change the course of the discharge channel. And so that bacteria mat could die off if upwelling or subduction occurs, changes the course of the discharge. Does that make sense? So you'll see dead bacteria mats or old channels that are no longer active.
Do they retain their color when they die?
No,
They don't.
no, yep. And I'll show you an old bacteria mat.
Okay.
Hmm? Yep.
a geyser basin if they have shared plumbing. I think in the Old Faithful area, the Lioness group, or what's that really, the really powerful one that looks like a fire hose? What's that one called? The Bumblebee. Is it Bumblebee geyser?
Beehive?
Beehive, yes. Beehive has. Have you been to Iceland? Have you guys been to Iceland?
Yeah.
You have been?
Yeah.
Awesome. Right on. So there's two of the major geyser spots in the world. Now you need to go to like New Zealand.
I didn't know New Zealand had one.
Yeah, New Zealand has, I think, the second largest hot pool in the world, or hot spring in the world. But it looks, no, they have the largest. Grand Prismatic is the second largest hot spring in the world, I believe. But what makes Grand Prismatic unique is the coloration.
Yeah.
And that's what makes Yellowstone unique, is the mass amounts of that thermophile bacteria. You look at other places that have hot springs, they just look like normal water. So Iceland, think of the Pacific Rim of Fire or the North Atlantic. That's where your really hot spots are going to be.
Yeah. You wanna go first? Yeah, go first. You're coming to me? You're coming to me? You said you're coming to me. Oi! Careful, going by. Okay. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Nothing. Try to position myself. Okay. Hey.
Theories. So that boat it's kind of like a submarine. It's so large on that boat that thing actually. Yep.
Our hearts beat to the city streets. We began to feel the fire.
That's okay.
We rise like tall buildings as the chemicals they take us higher. The night's young and it's just begun. As she puts her hand in mine.
You drag me around so
We
often.
wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull stars from the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, as we shout from the top. We're gonna be two hearts running wild. Now the morning is the afternoon. We lay awake in bed. The laugh so loud as the hours